Good afternoon and welcome to our Easter Messy Church with my favourite Easter craft. I couldn't really let it pass us by. So hopefully some of you are out there joining me with this craft. So I'm going to do a craft with you, then I'm going to tell the Easter story, and then in true Messy Church style we're going to do a song with movements together. So hopefully you're able to join me for all of this afternoon. First of all, and while we're waiting for those to join us, I'm just going to go through some of the materials that we're going to need for our craft this afternoon. First of all, we're going to need some plain biscuits. So I've chosen some rich tea. You could use a digestive or something like that, but anything plain and round would be great for our Easter gardens. You're also going to need a biscuit with a hole in the middle. Now, Jammy Dodgers are one of my favourites, but you could use party rings as well. I like those as well, so I don't mind which one. But I've got some Jammy Dodgers this afternoon, so you'll need some of those as well. What you'll also need is some, I'm going to tip this up because I know it's quite hard, some green icing. Here's some I made earlier. Just a little bit of icing sugar, some water and some green colouring will be great. You'll need some mini eggs. Now, I'm not eating chocolate till tomorrow, so you've got to watch me and make sure I don't eat any of the mini eggs, but they smell amazing. And then I've got some little flowers here. I don't know if you can see those in the tube. They're little, I suppose they might be stars, but they look like flowers, and we're going to put those in our garden shortly. So let's start our craft. So first of all, you need to get your round biscuit, your nice plain round biscuit. And on that, I'm going to put some of the green icing. So I'm going to get a spoonful of that there. It's going to be messy. You know what Messy Church is like. And I'm going to spread that all over my rich tea biscuit. So there we are. Now if you watch this later on when I'm not live, you might take a little bit more time and do it a little bit more tidily. There we go. So there's one nice green biscuit. I'm going to do another one here, just so that you can all see what I'm doing. I'm going to put a little bit more icing. Oh, don't want it dripping over the edges. You know how messy we get. I don't want to have to go and wash my hands while we're going live. So there we go. There's my two biscuits there. I've made two. I'll show you why in a minute. So then what we need to do is we need to put our tomb on the garden, and for that I'm going to use a round biscuit, but we need it to stand up. Now if you're making this for yourself, you can eat a bit of the biscuit to make the bottom flat. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. Don't eat the jam though, because you need that. Now you can only do that if you're making it for yourself, because if you're making it for anyone else, obviously you don't want to eat the bottom. So I'm going to stick that one that's for me on my rich tea biscuit. Can you see that? In fact, I reckon I could get away with eating a bit more. Because those of you who do Messy Church with me know that's exactly what I do. So there we are. I have my tomb on my Easter garden. Now, I thought I'd be kind and make one for my daughters. So I'm going to break that one off. I'm going to break that one there so that they haven't got the one that I've been nibbling. And I'm going to put that one on the other one there. So there's our Easter tomb. So there we are. At the moment, I have 2 tombs, but of course we need to decorate those, and that's going to have my sprinkly flowers on. So I'm going to get some flowers out there and I'm going to sprinkle these all over their gardens. There we are. Again, have a look and see what you think there. Oh, my cave's fallen down there. There we go. You can tell it's going live, can't you? There you are. There's my flowers on my Easter garden. So when that icing sets, it will hold those little tombs nicely in place. And then finally, the one ingredient that we haven't used yet are our mini eggs. And these are going to make the stone that sits in front of the tomb. Now, today, because it's Easter Saturday and the tomb hasn't yet been rolled away, I'm going to put it right in front of the cave's entrance, because that's exactly what would have happened. They would have rolled the stone in front of the cave where Jesus would have been buried, and the entrance would be covered up. So there's our closed tomb. But tomorrow morning, it's a bit like opening your advent calendar on the last day and knowing that there's something very special behind it. Tomorrow morning, you can roll away the stone. Can you see? I've just moved that away and I've rolled the stone away from the entrance of the tomb. But tomorrow, you could, if you wanted to, rather than roll it away, you could just eat it. That would be all right as well, because you wouldn't need it again then. So there are our Easter gardens. I have one with a closed tomb and one with the stone rolled away. So little treats for my daughters who are watching this with me at the moment. And they can enjoy one of those. They can't enjoy the other one because I've been nibbling the biscuit. So they can have the one that I haven't nibbled. I'll give that to Harriet and Jess later. So there's our Easter craft. Hopefully I've got some more jammy dodgers left. We can make some more Easter gardens later and we can have them on Easter Day as we celebrate. Now, I don't know whether you've been able to make those with us this afternoon, but you can always make them another day. You can watch this again if you want to, and you can make the Easter gardens. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell you that very, very familiar Easter story. I'm going to use a book that most of our children are familiar with, our Open the Book. And this story is called A Happy Day. It was very early. The birds were still in bed and the sun had not yet opened to brighten up the world. The sky was grey and grainy. The air was cold. And the women walked slowly towards the graveyard. Jesus was buried there, and the women were coming to visit his grave. They talked in sad whispers. They cried. They held each other's hands. Jesus had been dead for 3 days, and they missed him so very much. Just as they reached the graveyard, some surprising things happened. The ground began to shake, the air began to tremble, and quick as lightning, an angel flashed down from heaven and rolled the stone away from Jesus' tomb, just like the one on our Easter Day biscuit garden. Everything went quiet. The ground stopped moving, but the women shook with fear. "Don't be afraid," the angel said. "Come and see. The tomb is empty. Jesus is alive. Arm in arm, the women crept past the angel and into the tomb. The sheets were still there, the sheets that they had wrapped his dead body in. But Jesus himself was gone. "Where is he?" asked the women. "What have you done with him?" "I told you," smiled the angel. "He's not dead anymore. He's come back to life and he wants you to tell all his friends." The women, well, they looked at each other. They didn't know whether to laugh or to cry. They could hardly believe it. That is, until they hurried out of the tomb and ran straight in to Jesus. "Oh, Jesus," they cried, "it's true, you are alive." And they fell at his feet, amazed. "There's no need to be afraid anymore," Jesus said. "God has made everything all right, but I have a job for you. I want you to tell the rest of my friends that I am alive. Tell them I will meet them on the seashore in Galilee, where all our adventures started." The women waved goodbye and hurried off to Jerusalem. The birds were singing now. The sun's bright eyes were wide all over the world. And they had the most amazing story to tell. And that, of course, is the story that churches everywhere will be telling tomorrow. It's a story of new birth, when tomorrow we wake up and things like eggs, which represent that new birth, are celebrated with. And trust me, I've got a lot of big eggs in my garage that I'm going to eat tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to them. And I'm sure you've got Easter eggs as well that you can enjoy at home with your families. So I guess we should start singing our song together. And I've chosen a really familiar one because I think when we're not able to join together, it's probably not the best time to learn a new song. So I've chosen one of the ones that I know a lot of our children like to join in with. So we're going to sing Our God is a Great Big God. The actions are really, really simple. So before I start, I will just go through the actions with you. But let me just move my chair out the way. So, it is, our God is a great big God. That's that action. Our God is a great big God. We do that 3 times and then we say, and he holds us in his hand. And then we're going to do some reaching up for skyscrapers and some reaching down for submarines, some wide hands. And we're also going to talk about God loving us before the world began. Okay? And then it's how wonderful to be a part of God's amazing plan. You know it. You know you do. So let's start the music and let's do this a few times. If you're not warm already, this will warm you up. You don't need too much room, just enough room to stretch your arms up and to the side.
Our God is a great big God.
Up.
Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God.
And he holds us
in his hand.
Again.
Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God.
And he holds us
in his hands. He's higher than a skyscraper and he's deeper than a summer.
Come on, There! Did you join in? Did you have some fun worshipping God as we prepare for Easter Sunday tomorrow? So before we go, let's just say a prayer together. I just encourage you for a moment as you get your breath back, just to close your eyes, bow your heads, and just sit quietly for a moment wherever you are. Creator God, we thank you for the beautiful sunshine. We thank you for our friends and our families, many of whom we're unable to see at the moment. But we give thanks that we have those who are looking after us. And let us also remember this special weekend when Jesus, who looks after us all, gave his life for us so that we may live. And help us to remember that because of Jesus, we will never ever be alone, even when we feel lonely. And of course, in true messy church style, our big Amen. Happy Easter to all of you.